everyone, welcome to today's first illustration, and it's the 26th of July with new energy and feeling refreshed. I have managed to sit down today and do 5 illustrations, which is amazing because I only had 6 left to do, so that means there's only one which I'm planning to do tomorrow to finish it. It is in the evening of Wednesday that I'm recording this voiceover. It just works out really well for me. So yeah, thank you so much again for all of your comments and your support. And today I am going to look at the color palette that I did yesterday for my last video of the day. And the color palette was very refreshing, and when I said yesterday that it was surprisingly a happy palette, is actually when I was doing this previous page, my energy was dropping quite rapidly and I had very little left in me. So yeah, hence why I wanted to revisit that color palette, because it was such a beautiful and colorful, vivid, vibrant color palette. It is the Ultramarine Turquoise by Daniel Smith. I'm also repeating the Schmincke Gold, and let's see, I'm trying to think. I think today I'm going to go for the Daniel Smith the rich green gold, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see it in a bit anyway, although I have just swatched out, didn't I? Anyways, I was busy voiceovering. Yeah, I decided to go for that beautiful orange color, which is a little bit more on a brighter side compared to the previous one. And I'm trying to think. I've done so many today that I don't remember actually now. I think this was the quinacridone gold or not? No, this was the Aussie red gold. Yeah, that's right. So the Aussie red gold has a beautiful vibrancy to it, and it's got this kind of bright orange, but still it's not an electric orange, if that makes sense. It's a beautiful, gorgeous, luminous orange. So definitely in my top 10 probably colors. So the palette that you see me using today, which is the longer palette, it's an empty palette that I ordered on Amazon, and it said Jackson's on there. It's just a usual palette that you can buy across many other brands, but this one is branded by Jackson's. You can buy them without any brands, empty as well. I just liked, because I love buying art supplies at Jackson's, and I love some of their own brand products. I wanted to have a palette like that, so this was ages ago I bought it, and I created this dedicated Daniel Smith watercolor palette. So all of the colors in that palette are from Daniel Smith. I will put a card up for you here so that you can revisit this palette. I think there should be a video about me creating this palette, or perhaps thinking of putting colors together. Anyways, you'll see. So there we go. Yeah, so those are the colors I'm using. In terms of the composition, because I had quite a bit more energy, I decided to create a more complex illustration this time. And apart from making or drawing the big flower, which sort of looks like a rosebud at the bottom, I also decided to create these rosebuds, which are actually very simple to draw, but they're very effective. And again, this inspiration came from one of my ephemera, from the ephemera pack that I did on the Botanical illustrations. So I'll link it up here for you as well to check out my ephemera. If you haven't seen, I've got two, one for the face illustrations and the other one for Botanical illustrations. So I am keeping the colors separate again here. I just find it quite pleasant to just pick colors and keep them nice and separate and make them shine, so that way I don't need to think, are they going to create mud or are they going to create something pretty, although by accident sometimes when the colors collide together and mix into something magical. I love those moments, but doesn't happen all the time, so that's why I think it's easier for me to just keep them within this style of illustrations, just to keep them nice and simple. So what I'm doing next is, sorry, it was a little bit out of focus here for a minute. It should go back to normal. There we go. So I used the, so I'm using the Rich Green Gold by Daniel Smith here, and I wanted to compare side by side with the core color. And to be honest with you, I can't tell much of a difference. Yeah, I find them very, very similar. So it's a little bit surprising to me, because I forgot that the colors were so similar. I kind of thought that the core had that luminosity, which it does feel. I need to do this one more experiment and then I can tell you for sure, but looking at the swatches side by side, you can see there, you can't tell them apart, they look identical, and working with it also can't tell much of a difference there as well. Okay, so I have used that beautiful Aussie red gold for the rose buds, a little bit of it into the center of the rose, and now I'm just finishing off by dabbing the gold by Schmincke right into the leaves, a little bit in the center, a little bit on the main rose, a little bit on the rose buds. And the main thing here is that the color needs to be still wet when you're charging in the gold, so that kind of will make it flow beautifully. And otherwise, when you are adding a little bit of that gold into onto already dried watercolor, what you can do is take your brush, wash it out in clean water, and make sure you take out most water out of your brush. So use a little cloth or a napkin or some sort of tissues that you can dry your brush on, and then just glide over that gold, and what you will create is a more blended look, so you won't have just a blob of gold sitting on top of something that has already dried and therefore be a lot more obvious. So that's it. So that's a little trick for you. I'm now going over reintroducing the Museum Aquarelle by Caran pencils, because I haven't used them in a few of the last illustrations, kind of gone off, just to concentrate on watercolor for a little bit. But for now, yeah, I wanted to go back in with them because I missed them. So I used two colors here, and I will tell you what they are. So the turquoise color is the beryl green, and that beautiful gray color is the sepia 10%, which works with everything. So I'm just swatching them out right there, just to create a little texture. I do like that bit of mark making. Yeah, they're lovely. You've seen me swatch. You've seen me use them quite a lot of times, so it was good to just go back to that. So that's pretty much it for now, and I will see you in 2 hours time for the next illustration. the 27th of July. So see you then, and I hope you enjoyed the close-ups in a few seconds, and yeah, let's meet up again.